Have you ever wanted to start your own personal brand, but you're just confused as to how to actually grow? Well, there are two things you need to do differently that I did differently to grow from 80 subscribers to over 19,000 right now. It is to understand throughput and psychology. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly these two things: throughput to help you analyze and make banger videos, and human psychology to basically understand why videos do good and how you can use them to your advantage. January 25th, I wake up with a smile on my face. It's very weird that I've already woken up with a smile on my face, and it's not because I'm excited of the day, it's because I'm opening up my phone. Why am I opening up my phone at the start of the day? It is because I'm checking YouTube Studio and I see it. I see the goal that I've always wanted: 1,000 subscribers. And I'm sitting there and I'm smiling. I take this goal off of my wall because I finally achieved it after literally an entire year. And then after a few months, I'm sitting there unhappy seeing my channel because I just gained like 300 subs in like 2 months. And I'm confused. I was able to get 1,000, but I'm not able to cross this. And my goal for the year was to hit 10K before December. And I was confused as to what do I actually do until I understood throughput and psychology. And using these, you can literally see the subscriber count right now, the difference there is. Let's just get on with it. YouTube is a simple game to understand, and this is how exactly I blew up my YouTube channel. This is a very nice case study that I've done, and I want you to pay full attention to this because education is the best investment you can make right now. It is also the basis of creator-led business. This is something that every single entrepreneur that you're seeing online is pivoting to, the creator-led business, and we'll talk about this in a later video if you want to. And this is basically the most important concept that you must know. To succeed on YouTube, you need to get attention and retain attention. If you think about YouTube in first principles, it is all about just getting attention and then retaining that attention. So you get a lot of eyeballs on you, and then you just retain those eyeballs on you. And that is basically how you grow on YouTube. The simplest way I can just explain that. With any discrepancies in any of the following, your growth is extremely limited. To better understand this, let's understand this through throughput. So throughput is a concept. It's a mental model you can use to essentially understand how YouTube works. So this is the throughput for YouTube. I've built this out and it looks very weird, but let me just explain what that actually does. This is the simplified version of the entire throughput system. Your work starts off with the idea of the video, which is the most important part, all the way to the intro of the video. So if you're making educational content, right? If you're not making, Mr. Beast type videos, this is how your video's throughput system actually works. So throughput basically is a visual representation of the workflow that happens. And if you're able to convert any sort of process into a simple workflow, you'll be able to understand exactly where those variables are going wrong and how you can fix them. So what happens is that whenever a video flops, okay, video flop ho jata hai, the most common mistake people do is they don't analyze, or if they sit down to analyze, they don't know how to analyze. Like, what do I analyze the video for? क्या basis पे मैं analyze करूँ? So this will essentially help you to do this analysis. So any sort of video you make starts off with the idea and ends off with the intro, especially if you're making educational content, just like I am right now. If you're not making educational content, obviously it goes way more in detail after the intro, but this is basically all that this throughput system works. So basically it is your idea, then the idea validation, the scripting of the video, then the thumbnail, title, intro. This is the total addressable market that this thumbnail is going to be applicable to. If all of these steps are maximized and all of these steps are efficient, your videos will be extremely efficient as well. To understand where your bottlenecks are, you need to understand how well you're doing in all the steps of the system. How well is your idea? How well is your script? How well is your thumbnail? How well is your title? And how well is your intro? Let's analyze my old videos to understand this concept better. So let me just show you my older videos so that I can explain how this throughput system actually works. This is the video I had made before. It got around 400 views, which is absolutely terrible. The video title here. So if we go through this throughput system, it is the idea validation, scripting, right? If we look over here, this retention graph is pretty bad, but it is not that bad. It's not the worst retention graph I've had, right? So scripting wasn't a problem. Right. So what will happen is that if I see this video, I'm going to be sitting there analyzing. I thought this video was perfect, right? Hota hai na aisa, you make a video, you think it's going to go viral, and it just flops. You think nothing is wrong with this, but this is how you're going to understand what is wrong with the video. The retention graph is pretty decent, so there is no problem in this, right? There is no major problem in scripting that caused this video to not pop off. The major problem was this: the thumbnail and the impressions. So the major problem in this throughput system was the idea and the thumbnail. So the idea is bad, the idea validation was bad, the scripting was okay, but because the idea is bad and the thumbnail is bad, the title is decent, the intro is decent, the video will not perform because these two variables are pretty bad, right? This throughput system will help you to analyze these videos very, very easily to understand exactly how do I do this. A bad step in the throughput system will sabotage your growth on YouTube. You need to always analyze your videos through this lens. So let's just look at one of my best videos yet. How I became a master at storytelling. This is one of the best videos I've made till now. I think my most popular video as well. How does this sit in the throughput system? The idea, you can see it got 1.5 million impressions. That means the idea was good. If you compare this 24.9 thousand impressions to 1.5 million impressions. If I remember correctly, I think this, I don't really remember it, but I think in the video that flopped, I was talking about something similar related to storytelling itself. 1.5 million impressions. The idea is pretty good. The idea validation, people are searching for this. This is why this video did really great, because people were searching for this. People were searching. So if you search how to master storytelling, my video will come up on your homepage, on your search bar, whatever. My video will come up. People were searching for this. So in the throughput system, you can just see if the idea is good. I want you to understand this very important. This is very important. If the idea is good, the idea validation is also done properly. So now the first two steps, which are the most important steps, are done. They are good, right? Because they are good, the scripting was bad. You can see here the scripting was bad. But the reason why the scripting was bad was because I just didn't do any scripting. I didn't do any. It was a one take video, right? So obviously people clicked off. So the scripting was bad here. Right? You can see the retention graph is dog shit here, right? It's dog shit. But because the idea and idea validation steps were correct and were good, this sort of got overplayed. The thumbnail had a 6.5% CTR. The thumbnail was also good. The title was also good. And then you got this viral video. I made 4K from one video. Bro, imagine. You make 4K from one video. You have this potential inside of you. You can do this. This throughput system will help you to do this. It's absolutely crazy that nobody is talking about this throughput system. Nobody is talking about how to actually analyze these videos. This is how you do it. So if you're going to be making a video, you need to always, if you're coming up with a video, right? How do you actually make sure the video does good? It has to go through this throughput system. So you come up with an idea, you validate the idea first of all, if it is good or not. If it's not good, you don't carry out the other steps. You don't carry out the other steps. If the idea validation is good, that means the idea is actually good. The scripting, then you have to go to the scripting and script a proper video so that people will watch the video. You have to script the video properly. Then you move on to making the thumbnails. You don't even record right now, okay? You don't even record right now. You make the thumbnail. You create the title. If these two are done and these three things are done perfectly, and then you just record your video with a proper intro, your video, I promise you, will do extremely well. Nobody is talking about this throughput system. Nobody in this world. And I hope you understand what I'm talking about, because this will change it. If this was shown to me when I had like 80 subscribers, I would be way ahead than I am right now. You need to run every video of yours through this throughput system to understand what variables are going wrong. You can't just sit there, make a video and then cry it didn't go, viral, and then just quit. And if you are making a video, run this system as well. So run this, any idea you have through the system. Understand how you can do better in all the steps of the system. You will see results. With this throughput system, you can get a lot of attention, my friend. If you're making any sort of video, you will get a lot of attention because you're running this through this throughput system. But you also need to retain it. You need to retain your audience. And here's where psychology comes into play. Because there are a few psychological tricks people used to grab your attention, and I have used it too. I've already used it in this video. I'm going to talk about this right now. Psychology is one of the most powerful tools you have, and understanding human behavior will help you in all aspects of life. But for the content creation side of things, there are a few things you need to know. Humans follow certain behaviors, and understanding the principles behind these behaviors will determine how well you do on YouTube. You can come up with clever hacks, tags, descriptions, and all of that things, but to truly grow your channel and attract the right audience, you need to grasp these psychological laws at the core. These principles will help you not only attract the right viewers but also nurture them and monetize your channel in the long run. If you are running a business, this will help you get leads. If you want to start a business, this will help you get customers. Let's be real. Most likely, you don't want to become the next Mr. Beast, do you? Most likely, you do not want to become the next Mr. Beast. You don't want to shred a Lamborghini and, buy 100 houses, right? You probably just want to make videos like this wherein you're educating your audience. Maybe you're making videos for your business to attract your clients. If you truly want to make sure you're properly doing it, you need to know human psychology. And when you understand it, you hold yourself with a powerful tool. You can influence, persuade, and even manipulate your audience. And this isn't a new concept. These psychological laws have been used for centuries by leaders, war politicians, war generals, and business moguls. All of these people, they know exactly these principles. The first thing is confirmation bias and how it pairs with heuristics. Okay, you might not have heard about this before. Confirmation bias explains why people become loyal followers. Every human seeks out information that confirms their beliefs and rejects what challenges them. This is the basic human tendency. When your content validates someone's beliefs or reinforces their worldview, they're naturally drawn to you. This is how fans are born. It's the same reason political parties gain followers. They speak directly to their audience's biases. Bias is something that humans have had for a very, very long time. People have biases. And confirmation bias is a basic psychological phenomena. If I sit here and confirm your bias of the earth being a sphere, you will listen to me. But let's just say there is a flat earther out there. Why do flat earthers even exist? Because someone is validating their beliefs and people want to be validated. And you might have a question, why don't people just think rationally all the time? Why can't just people sit there and think rationally, okay, how can this be possible? What is this facts, blah, blah, blah. Why do they cling to beliefs even when faced with facts that contradict them? This is where heuristics come into play. Heuristics are mental shortcuts. Our brains are bombarded with information constantly, and processing all of it rationally would take too much energy. So we simply use heuristics to make decisions based on what aligns with our existing beliefs. You might have heard this quote before. Until and unless you make your subconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. That is basically this. Heuristics is a process in our brain that helps us to take decisions extremely quickly because we don't want to spend time thinking. Let's just say if I told you to delete Instagram right now, you won't. You know Instagram is bad for you, yet you will still spend hours on it. The app feeds into your confirmation bias and saves your brain from doing the hard work of thinking. If you tell someone who's addicted to Instagram, delete the app right now, you have no utility purpose of it, they will not delete it. Why? Because it satisfies their confirmation bias. It validates their confirmation bias, and they're not aware of the process of heuristics. So you can use this to break any sort of bad habit or quit addictive apps, because now you know, okay, my brain is thinking in the it's taking a shortcut. It's not thinking rationally. These systems are designed to validate your desires and keep you hooked, exploiting your brain's tendency to take the easy route. That is confirmation bias and heuristics. Second principle is relatability. Humans are wired to connect through stories. Stories help us make sense of the world and teach us morals. People are more likely to listen to someone they can relate to. Why? Because it taps into the same confirmation bias and the bias blind spot, which is another concept that people use. So what is a bias blind spot? Is that people will tend to look at the biases of other people and notice the biases of other people except their own. So right now I'm talking about the confirmation bias in other people, but my human tendency will be to not look at my own bias. This is called the bias blind spot. So when you tell a story, you're essentially portraying some sort of bias, and since the bias, if it clicks with the other person, they listen to you, right? When someone shares a relatable experience, your brain forces you to listen to it because it reinforces your worldview. That's why I always open my videos with a story. I always talk about a story. It pulls you in, it makes you feel connected, and sets the stage for the message I want to deliver. The same goes for powerful figures. They often create an enemy to shit talk. You might have seen that the political parties will say, "Okay, this political party was actually bad. This is the enemy of the people. This is the enemy, the matrix, and all that." This tactic plays on the biased blind spot by shining a light on the enemy's flaws while making their audience feel superior. They will talk about the other person's biases and how they're doing bad things, but that is the core principle of the bias blind spot and confirmation bias, right? You won't look at yourself, you won't look at the bias you have, but of the other people. The third principle is authority. Humans are wired to follow authority. From childhood, we look up to those who seem to know more than us, parents, teachers, and leaders. So, how do you build authority on YouTube? There's a lot of BS online. They talk about authority and stuff. By you create authority by leading, taking responsibility, and educating. The three core principles of authority. You lead people, you take responsibility, and you educate the person. Authority comes from action. When you position yourself as a leader, take ownership of your message, and consistently provide value through education, people will naturally see you as an authority figure. Master these psychological laws, and you'll have a loyal audience that not only follows you but trusts you enough to act on what you say. But how do you put this into practice? Let's just look at the actionable advice. First, you have to understand who you want to attract if you're making content. The foundation of growing a YouTube channel starts with knowing exactly who your content is for. Trying to appeal to everyone dilutes your message. Instead, narrow down on your ideal viewer. What are their interests? What pain points do they have? What would they care? Why should they even care about their content? When you understand the person you're speaking to, you can create content that resonates deeply with them. It's all about becoming valuable to a select group of people, not trying to please the masses. You want to draw in the right people, those who will stick around, engage, and ultimately help grow your brand. Second is to create a document with a deep understanding of this person. So once you know who your ideal audience is, it is essential to document everything about them. And this isn't just a surface level description like, oh, they're age 25 to 35 and they like tech. You need to dig deeper, like deep. What keeps them up at night? What solutions are they actively searching for? You have to get extremely deep and literally copy paste their mind. And this document should cover their needs, desires, and pain points in detail, as well as how you can offer them value. By having a clear understanding of how you can help them, you'll be able to craft content that directly speaks to their needs. This document becomes a blueprint for every video you make, ensuring you're always on target. The next thing you want to do is break down their beliefs and biases. So every person has a set of beliefs and biases that shape how they see the world, right? We've discussed this. To truly connect with your audience, you need to understand these filters. What do they already believe about the topics you cover? How can you align your message with their worldview or gently challenge it? People respond to content that either reinforces their existing beliefs or provides a new perspective that doesn't completely reject their values. Get to know their story, what experiences have shaped them. This helps you position yourself in a way that feels relatable and authentic. And the next thing you want to do is learn storytelling to influence them. Since it's the most powerful tool, humans are naturally drawn to stories because they're emotional and relatable. Learn how to use storytelling in your own videos. It's very important. I've made a video about storytelling itself. You can check it out after this one. And good storytelling isn't about entertainment, it is about creating an emotional connection. And the next thing and the last thing you need to do is aim to educate, lead, and take responsibility. As a content creator, you have the opportunity to be a leader for your audience. Don't just entertain, educate. Offer real value in your videos by teaching your audience something they didn't know before. But beyond that, aim to lead by taking responsibility for guiding them in the right direction. People look to those who can provide clarity, solutions, and a sense of direction. If you can position yourself as someone who helps them grow, they will follow you. Leading isn't about being an authority figure, it's about offering value and taking responsibility for their progress. So if you have reached this part of the video, I want you to check out the first link in the description. It's a free community with a lot of resources. This document that you see here will also be inside that community. I want to grow this community of people and lead people into starting their own creator-led businesses. Check out the community and subscribe while you're out there. Don't sacrifice your future self for the pleasure today. Peace.